moving on. Okay, and I don't really know. Okay, and I know somebody's gonna ask, what happened to people when they are caught, or I don't know. I'm just gonna call it what it is: lying to the government, or changing things around, or it's a lot of different things. I would say I don't really know. Possibly a felony case, and also you are permanently off the system where you're not able to get benefits, or it might be 10 years off where you can't get benefits, but they can get benefits for the kids. They'll just be prorated out. Moving on to my next one. Customer came in. I don't know if it was me screening it or who caught it. Had 2 homes. She said, oh, no, I just have 1 house. The other house I bought for I don't know, she said she bought for her brother, or she bought for somebody because they didn't have paperwork. But she had 2 homes, and it looked like we spent like an hour trying to explain to her, you're not eligible. You can't have 2 homes and get food stamps, okay? You know, you're over the resources, and I don't know what the resources are right now. You can look it up and see. I don't know. Another customer, one of the newbies had called me and asked me to come in and help her because when the scheduler did the whatever background checks, bank checks, I don't know, they pull it up, or the customer volunteered and said, hey, I got $25,000 in the bank. And the girl was like, you're not eligible. The resource limit, I think it was $1,500 or $2,000. She's like, no, I need my food stamps. I need my food stamps. And no, she did not look like me, and she was not a Pukishe. Okay, just so y'all know. There was another where we spent like an hour trying to explain to this lady, you're not eligible unless you bring something back from your lawyer from the courthouse showing that you're not able to access this money. This money is held in a trust. She had $5,000 for each one of her kids. I think, no, she had 3 kids. Each of them had $5,000, so that's $15,000. I don't know what the extra, but it was like $25,000. And she's like, no, that's for my kids. I'm not touching their money. The food stamps. Like, you're not, take that $25,000, and that's how you go and you buy your food. But yeah, that's one. Tell me why the dude that my mom at the time, God bless my mom, so we had just had a hurricane. Tell me why my roofer that we put almost about $20,000 cash in his hand was at my local food stamp office where I work. Tell me why. Tell me, I want you to tell me why. My mother had came and she was like, I'm not gonna tell you the man's name because I don't remember his name. I'll just say Mr. T. You know, he was not Pookie Ray. He was not Tyrone. He was not Jerome. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. And she said, I just saw Mr. T truck at your building. I was like, who? I'm like, no. Why would he be there? She said, well, yeah, you're right. Why? I just gave the man $20,000 cash. And she said he told me he'd been taking pictures of the house and he goes places and he showed and how much he made. He done had 2 or 3 people gave him $20,000 this week. He was bragging, telling me. And then the following week, he had did our friend's home. I'm gonna just call this lady. They don't watch the show. The show, yes, I call it a show. Mrs. Jones. He just went to Miss Jones' house and had did hers. And I'm thinking, I said, Mom, I think you mistaken. I don't think this is Mr. T. I don't think Mr. T would be at the food stamp office. And then I thought, okay, maybe he is, because I know he's married with a couple of kids, so maybe he was dropping off his sister, or maybe he was dropping off maybe one of his adult daughters, but yeah, he and eventually I found out, I looked and I waited, and yes, that man was over there after collecting over $20,000 plus in a week from us from other people and before that. Now I know that they got dues that were for them that they got to pay, but according to my mom at the time, allegedly some of the dudes were saying that they weren't being paid well, that he had other dudes in other places working, so he had guys up under him, but still with that type of I don't see why, I'm just saying, y'all, I'm just saying. Okay, customer drives, I don't know nothing about a Range Rover. I don't know nothing about a Land Rover until I moved to the south side of town where the income is higher. And one of the managers was outside. It was her and her buddy and two other ladies. They smoked like choo-choo trains. So she was outside smoking. She ran in and she said, I want you to know that this lady here, you fixing to see her. And will you ask her, how is she affording a brand new Range Rover? And I looked at her like, huh? What is that? I don't know what a Range Rover, I don't know what a Land Rover is. What is that? She said, girl, that is one of the highest SUVs, and it doesn't even have tags on it. She has new plates. They came in, it was her and another lady. No, they do not look like Kizzy. She did not look like the women from BAPS, BAPS. Didn't look like Whoopi Goldberg. Did not look like me. I don't remember everything, but I remember she was in a new subdivision. Her husband was working at a gas convenience store. I don't know if I really think they owned it, but she said that the house that they paid for was exactly $1,000 a month. One of the managers who was familiar with that area for that community said that she knows that the light bills run anywhere from about $400. So yes, you got a house note that's $1,000. How do you pay for your utilities? And again, still, how do you afford this Range Rover or Land Rover, whatever it was? So when I gave her the information that was given to me to give to her, she had one excuse after the next excuse. Okay, she said that when they needed household stuff, they would get it from the store. If she needed feminine goods, she would get at the store. If she needed diapers for the baby, she would get at the store. So that was her toiletries. So when she came back with her information, she had changed how much her husband made. So at first he was telling me that he made exactly $1,000 a month to pay the mortgage or the house. Then she changed it, I guess once she saw that we were looking at the utilities, she upped it a little bit to like, he makes, I think, $1,200 or $1,300 a month. So she's trying to include, I don't remember what happened with the car. I don't remember what excuse she used. Yes, I said excuse. I don't know if she said somebody was paying the car directly and that no way none of the money touched them or came to them. It was something, but yeah, that was one there. And all I can think of, this is someone new to the country, and she's already learned basically the American way to I don't know what's the word, I guess I use how my Papa used to say, how to get over, how we get over, basically how we get over. Okay, this here was one where I just walked in, filing, putting stuff back, eavesdropping on another agent's case or whatever was going on. So this lady was telling the agent, was it the agent or was it my supervisor? Okay, so basically in a nutshell, she said that she sleeps with this man every night. He's her husband, but he don't give her no money. All he want to do is pay the rent. He don't give her enough money for the food, for groceries. And so the caseworker, the manager, the supervisor gave her a list of stuff to bring back. One was his information, his check stubs. If he had his ID, or if he has a social security number. So when she looked at that, When she looked at all that stuff my manager, the supervisor gave her, she's like, I need a translator. I need somebody to come in here and translate for me. And they looked at each other and they're like, ma'am, you just spoke to me in the whole interview in English. We went back and forth and you started off talking before I could even ask you any questions. Now you say you need a translator. I don't understand. I need a translator. So they brought somebody in, and this lady was one of the schedulers, and she didn't play. She was hardcore, and she did play. And she's like, whatever she told the lady, she said, hey, this is the stuff you got to return. You know, don't come here speaking in English and telling the people this, and then when something is not what you want to hear, or you don't want it to go how it's supposed to go, you know, because you're keeping me from doing my work, and I've got work this high. I have to stop and come downstairs. And she was the older lady. I think she had problems with her legs, so she had to leave from upstairs to come downstairs for all this, based on all this BS at this point, because we already knew what was going on. I don't think that lady ever brought her information back, but yeah. Our manager said, going back to something that Dave Ramsey said, if you need it, because I'm going to say something controversial maybe. The food pantry does not have everything that you need, everything that you eat, or maybe what your kids like. It is there as a supplement. I remember when we were kids, I just hated food pantries. You know, things that my mom brought back was always cereal that we didn't like. We didn't eat. Some of the packages had roach mess on it. Yeah, y'all, some of y'all old school, y'all know what I'm talking about. In fact, I had went to a food pantry a couple of years back, not that long, when we had the freeze? A flood. And I'm not gonna give this food pantry out. It's in a nice area. They have a lot of big, high, rich donors, because they had a list of the donors, and they also help people with rent and utilities. But I had just went there, and I was working at Sam's doing the food demos as well. So I went there, and the guy kept trying to give me, they even had a frozen area, but they only had one thing of meat. Now you guys, you know that being a person like myself working in a grocery store at Sam's and at Costco, I know what fresh, healthy meat look like. Being a person who buy a lot, one of my relatives used to get his food freshly done, or get a beef or a cow or whatever, and have it fixed up at the meat market. So I know what fresh food look like. Tell me why the man that's at the pantry was trying to give me frostbitten food, that frozen food where it turned black purple. Ma'am, he kept here, take it. I said, sir, look, come get ma'am. And I'm going through with my basket, and he just following me around, trying to force me to take this meat, frozen meat that should be thrown in the trash. Yes, okay. Some of them, one of my nephews, I think this was when the pandemic first happened, he went somewhere with a friend. I don't know why he was over there, but my niece was complaining that, hey, he brought this stuff, and half of these fruits and veggies, they all rotten. What, he bringing this stuff in here, and it's rotten. So again, all I can say, it's not going to meet your whole needs, but again, if you qualify, and no, I say we like I'm still there. I'm not going to give you information on the phone. You come in for your interview, and you basically give us what you have, and they run the checks or whatever. But if you got to lie and say husband not in the home, boyfriend not in the home, or you with this dude, oh no, he's my brother. I heard that so many times. He my cousin. Something else I had heard. One was a woman came in, she was with her mother-in-law. She hadn't had the baby yet, and she, I don't know, did she tell me? So she finally said, oh, that woman they do a lot for me. She gave me a baby shower. They give me money, but my baby is not for her son. That's not her son baby. I was like, huh? I'm thinking, girl, you gonna get yourself hurt. The woman is taking her to her appointments, taking her to her wig, taking her to her prenatal, taking her to the food stamp. The woman then gave her a big baby shower, and she's telling me that's not her son's baby. I'm just getting this stuff from them to help me out, because whoever the dude, I don't know if she knew who the dude was or the dude didn't want to have anything to do with her. But yeah, and no, she was not a Pukisha. Wasn't a Pukisha, y'all. She wasn't a Kizzy. Okay, my next one here, this one I first started. Everybody talked about this lady for ages because she lived not far from the building. And what I had heard, or the little bit I had heard from it, it was that, I don't know how they had did the investigation, how did it come up, but it had came up that her husband was in the home, that she had been getting benefits, food stamp and Medicaid and the likes and the TANF for, I don't know, for a couple of years. And when the head honchos or the fraud unit or investigation unit sent her the check, I don't know how much it was. Probably was like $35,000, $25,000, $40,000. It was up there. That if she didn't pay it, she was going to go to jail. All I know is somebody said they believe her husband worked at the light company, or he had a electrical building or business connected to the house. I don't know. But that man came in, went to the corporate, and gave them a check for, it was more than $25,000. It was like $35,000 or $40,000 to keep his wife from going to jail. So they had that kind of money, and she was getting benefits, lying and running out to the mailbox to get the mail before the husband would get it, so he wouldn't know what was going on. And no, she wasn't a Pokisha. And I'm saying all this here for that Mr. L Day over there. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna have to shorten this. I'm gonna have to shorten it. Pick it up with another one. So my last one I'm gonna talk about, and this is crazy. I was working with, I don't know, this girl was a supervisor. She was the top lead. And we were calling, or I was making the phone calls for her while she was typing up the information. So she gave me this one here. I called this lady, and I think we were working on Saturdays. And the lady said, no, she's not here. She's not here. And I kept asking, look, I said she is not here. You need to call her at her nail shop. Thinking, nail shop? What did you just say? Nail shop? And she said, well, she's not there. She's at the other nail shop. And she hung up on me. And I told the lead, I said, this lady told me, do not call this number, that she busy, and that so-and-so, I'm not going to tell you the lady's name, and that the lady is not there. Call her at her nail shop. So I don't know what they did. They got some stuff together, and the lady comes in. I don't know, she came into the office a few days later, and they asked her, well, you said at the beginning of the interview that this man who was supposed to be your landlord, that y'all have the same name, but he's not your husband. But you said that was a very common name. She said that wasn't true. She don't know why the woman said that she had a nail shop, or she had two nail shops. Make a long story short, she did have a business that she did not report. She did have a husband that was the landlord, but he was her husband, but not the landlord. But he was really the landlord, but he was